Yeah, I helped organize it.
Oh, wow.
The reason why is because they had the thing, Operation Gridlock, that was happening across the United States. And so somebody posted it on Facebook, and I wanted to get involved. And so I emailed the guy and said, hey, can I get involved? He never emailed me back, but the page was stagnant. And I'm like, okay, wow, so I'll just take the reins on it. So I went ahead and I got everybody together. We organized it. I put money behind it through marketing and advertising. And it was a peaceful protest. Everybody was supposed to stay in their cars, but you know how it comes with protests. But everybody wanted the protest to shut down or reopen up California.
And they closed back.
So my thing was California shut down, Los Angeles is shut down, but the people in the inner cities are still left hanging, right? Because we lived in the most underserved communities in Southern California. And so when you shut down an economy where people can't work and they need to work in order to pay their bills, in order to take care of their children, you know, what are they supposed to do? You know, especially our senior citizens who can't even take care of themselves, especially all the tax. Okay, you need to give that money back. But instead, what do you do? $50 billion for free health care for Hispanics, for illegal immigrants. Another $150 million stimulus for illegal immigrants, just like almost like you're incentivizing illegals to break our laws so they can get money. Meanwhile, we are still persecuted for breaking the same laws that these people are incentivized to break. So it's like, okay, so when does California take care of us? And so that was my opportunity to talk about the issues that we have in inner cities because nobody cares. Even our representatives, even our legislators, they don't care about what's going on in the cities because if they did, we wouldn't have community organizations that's giving back. You know, I only know one other city council member that is doing something for our city. You know, and he's giving away food. But what happened to the other city council? You talk about billions of dollars in surplus that California has, but yeah, we still have our cities. Put more quality jobs. Give us a better healthcare system. Take care of our seniors at least. At least take care of the seniors and our homeless people. You know, that would help. That's what I want them to do. Or get out of office. Aspect. So I grew up in 104th in Normandy, and our house was shot up in a drive-by, which motivated our mother to move us out back in 2000. And I joined the Navy in 2004, and I'm retired. You know, I could have moved anywhere, but I came back to South LA. And I see the same conditions now, even worse than it was then. We still have gangs, we still have a lot of crime, we don't even have great jobs. I mean, like McDonald's and security is not a job. You know, you can't retire off that. Poverty rate is still high. The only difference now and then is we have more homeless now than we have then. And you look at who represents our communities, who's been there for the longest time, right? And it's, you know, unfortunately it's Maxine Waters. Maybe it's her fault, maybe it's not her fault, but if you cannot be effective in your leadership style in our community, then you got to get out of office. Talking trash don't pay bills. Talking trash, you're not going to put your children to school. Talking trash, you're not bringing quality jobs back here. It sounds good, but at the end of the day, how productive is it? You know, if we still have our ran down city, no economic development, no economic opportunities, you know, people still struggling. And that's my reason for wanting to run. I'll tell you this. So my take on the Republican Party, when I joined the Navy, and you know, I was 18 years old, first time voted, they said you choose your political party based on the ideals and values that you can best align with. And you vote for the person that you like, you know, or who ideals and values you best align with. And so when you do the history of the Republican Party, it was made for black people. By black people as an anti-slavery, the Freedom Party. They fought for black rights. They fought for everything for black people because we were black people in this party. Regardless if they talk about the switch, in my opinion, the game is still the same. The only thing that's different is the way the game is played, right? And I say that, and this is what I tell a lot of people, when you look at how the game is played, right, you have to give up something in order to get something for free. So what do they give us free? They give women who have children food stamps and housing. What do you have to give up in return? The rights to your children and your man out of your homes. When it comes to Personal Work Responsibility Act, or what we like to call child support. When it comes to the crime bill, the 94 crime bill, which was authored by Joe Biden and pushed by Bill and Hillary Clinton, right? They call us super predators and all the other stuff. So these are the proponents that keep us down, even from redlining. Even when you talk about economic development within our cities, who are the majority of the people that are in our cities? They're Democrats. So if we're complaining about issues and we're complaining to the people who are causing the issues, what are we doing? We're complaining to the people who are causing our problems, right? There hasn't been a Republican in Los Angeles County since the 80s. You know, so we look at the cause for our city, the condition that we're in, the things that's keeping us down. I'm not saying that it's the Democrats. I'm saying it's the people who have been Democrats that have been running the city. Okay. Because they only know that if we talk a lot of trash and make them upset about something, we don't necessarily have to work. We can tell them that we tried without actually proving that we tried. Or, you know, they give us a Walmart here, or, you know, you can build a small business here. You know what I'm saying? But even in our small mom and pop shops, what do we have? We have our mom and pops working in that business instead of taking that business and turning it into a corporation. You know what I'm saying? Right. And even, you know, I was at Leimert Park and I was talking to the OGs and they were like, you know, if they gentrify, we can't keep our business. And I said, well, if gentrification and keeping your business is your concern, then you did it wrong. Right? Look at the Sam Waltons and look at the Bilderbergers. What did? They started a corporation, and instead of working in their corporation, they hired a management team, people who went to college to manage these businesses. And then they hired people in the community to grow their business. And once they had a lot of money, what they do, they put another business here, put another business here. Prime example of a good businessman from South LA, Taco Mel. Right? What does he do? He started with a push cart. Right? Then he had a food truck. And then he'd open up this business in Inglewood. Then he in the mall. Now him and one of my partners is working on moving his business to Africa.
Oh, damn.
You know what I'm saying? So these are examples of good businessmen, but they pride us on, go to college, build up all this debt, and then try to start a business. Right? How can you start a business with debt?
Right.
You can't. And why is it that, and I hate to get on finances, but I'm a broker, I'm a licensed broker, a financial counselor.
Oh, okay.
Why is it that they'll finance you all this money to go to college? They'll give you a car, everything that depreciates in value, right? And I was a recruiter, so I put a lot of people in the military who had college degrees. Smart people, but you can't monetize a college degree. But you can monetize training. You can monetize a hustle. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? Even though where do you start with hustling, right? He took his money, what did he do? Started a store. People hate him, then they shut the store down. Then what he do? He got him some partners, right? Corporate partners. Then he got his own store, and then he got the workspace. You know what I'm saying? Then he got the music industry. You know what I'm saying? Like prime example. But this is what I'm gonna tell every black person, right? You try to use your personal credit to get something. What they're gonna give you? A car, maybe a house. You try to, which value maybe, you know, $750,000 just for all that hit or miss. You start a business. As soon as you start your business, what is your net worth for your business? $750,000, because that's the lowest amount of loan that they'll give you. So all I'm saying is we've been doing it wrong for a long time, and it's time for us to change that mindset, change our mentality. If what we're doing is not working, change it. It's okay. Right. Try something different. If you don't like it, you got 2 more years. Keep doing something different until you find something that works for you.
Right.
What we've been having ain't working.
My biggest concern is opening the black community up, South Central Los Angeles, Inglewood, Watts, without the proper leadership, the proper precautions put in place. We are already affected at this. You know, we if we come in contact with coronavirus or whatever, we already have pre-existing conditions. Right. So I'm worried about our health. You know, I feel as if the government should fund small businesses, not that $3 trillion business stimulus package that just went out, but I feel small businesses should be funded for the government's negligence, because we didn't put ourselves in this situation. Trump and his negligence, accusing the Dems of this being a hoax and everything, the whole world is shut down right now. So I feel like it's too soon to open up the hood. I'm going to just say what it is. I don't feel like the hood is properly prepared to open right now, and I feel like it's going to put a lot of our elderly at risk, which who happen to be most of the business owners in the community. We have gentrification going on already in the community. If the numbers spike and take out our biggest population of business owners, which are the elderly people who already have a weakened immune system, that makes the door wide open for gentrification to come in, because what happens when someone dies and they don't have the proper plans put in place, the proper deeds? It goes back to the state. So if my grandfather owns a property and he didn't do his diligence before he died, and the state seizes that, and all of the black-owned businesses, like, who just died that owned, was it Woody's? Woody's, okay? You know, people like that in the community, they're elderly already. If they come in contact with coronavirus, they don't have, you know, the highest chance of beating it. So I feel like we would be a threat to our community, and it would be detrimental to open too soon. So I think we should wait a little longer and put a plan of action in place before we just say open up. What are your take on opening up, and how do you feel about that?
Well, this is how I feel about it. When it comes to placing the blame, for me, it's hard to place the blame on who should have did what. In my opinion, they all should have been working together. Because when coronavirus first came out, or they first heard about it in January, they were going through the whole impeachment. Right? Now, for the Trump administration, they should have been more vigilant, and he should already have people in place to be able to fight this. But on the other side, when you have a House of Representatives, they should have been more mindful of what was going on, not just with their personal beefs, but what's going on with our country. Right? So I'm gonna place the blame on the whole House of Representatives of Trump and his administration for not being able to figure out what their issues was for them to be able to work together to move forward. When it comes to Los Angeles County, we have 10 million people that live in Los Angeles County, and I say this all the time. 15,000 cases, confirmed COVID cases. That percentage is 0.0017. More people are getting killed in the streets from gang violence than they are from COVID-19. So the government needs to shut the city down and make that important. More people are killed from domestic violence than COVID-19, so they need to shut the government down and make that a priority. We have homeless people that are dying on the streets more than COVID-19, so we need to shut the city down and make that a priority. You know what I'm saying? So when can we decide as a people in our own community to force the government to shut down and take a look at what they've been doing to our community for this amount of time? Why do we have to have what they consider an infectious disease before we can shut down our community? You know what I'm saying? But on the other token, financial literacy has always been an issue in the black community because we don't know finances.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to create a way that we can educate people in our city about finances. I know me, this organization, and another lady from another organization, and some of my partners that are brokers in San Diego, we're putting together a package that we'll be able to give to the community for free to show them estate planning, wealth building, and trust in the state. Right? And so once it's COVID-19, you know, is over, or the pandemic is over, whether they decide to reopen the city or not, we're still going to be faced with the same issues. You know what I'm saying? So what we have to do is be proactive in combating the issues that we have, and that's getting our seniors who own small businesses, our small business owners in general, up to date on how to be able to protect their estates, how to be able to protect their assets through trust, and financial literacy that they need so they can be able to build their business without the help of the government if they don't need it. But gentrification is going to happen regardless if you like it or not. You ain't going to be able to stop it, unfortunately. Because the things that were here in the 40s are no longer here. The things that were here during the slave days are no longer here. What happens is, whether you call it gentrify, whether you call it rebuilding, whether you call it, you know, whatever, it's going to happen. But we have to be prepared for it. We have to prepare our people for it.
So out of that stimulus package that Trump did approve, how much of that money actually touched the hood? How much of that actually touched the ghetto?
Not a lot. Because they would have to actually apply for it. One of the biggest things I hear, especially talking to small business owners, is I'm not going to apply for it because I'm not going to get it anyway. And then the money ran out. And then they had the new money. And I asked more people, well, I'm not going to apply for it because I'm not going to get it. I'm like, dude, you could have applied for it and been on the waiting list, so when they did have new money, you'd have been first to get that money. But because you refused to act.
So did you see big corporations like Shake Shack?
Ridiculous. And they had to give that money back.
Yeah.
Even Harvard, they got to give that $9 million back. They got a $41 billion endowment, that's like a trust, that they can pull money from anytime they need. And the Secretary of the Treasury made this one for only small businesses to be able to get it. You can't get that money if you make over a certain amount of money in a year.
Well, I would like to see a small business